You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Ray Donovan After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Ray Donovan After Show.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Bing is for doing, and we're here doing the AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for Ray Donovan. Today, we're going to be recapping episode 8 of season 1, titled Bridget. As always, I'm Kennelia, and I'm joined here by two fabulous hosts. Guys, introduce yourselves.
I'm Anna Koppel.
And I'm Shawno.
What did you guys think of the episode?
I loved this episode. So much happened. I was saying before we started off, I'm like, these are the most notes I've ever taken, ever.
Yeah. Sean,
I liked the previous episode compared to this one a lot more, but we did get a lot of things that were good. The one thing that was good that I really liked, Marvin Gaye Washington actually told Bridget to get out of his house.
Yeah, that we'll get into that. Yeah, and I agree with you guys. I enjoyed it. I think for me, because I'm becoming more attached to what's happening. Like, I'm starting to get mad about stuff, or I'm starting to be like, oh man, like, you know, I'm starting to have like a connection.
Yeah.
Especially with little Bridget, but we'll get to that. So let's talk about Mickey. Mickey had an eventful day. He was spent the majority of the time at a spa with a lady that he met. He was just randomly interacting with her. He was working on a screenplay or a treatment.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, I bet.
And he was getting pampered at a unisex spa, which was very neat. And I would want to enjoy one of those with my wife.
It would be nice. Yeah, I'm sure it's nice. But Mickey, you know, he didn't really fit in there. He was okay, but once he started talking, he didn't really match the clientele. Like, the lady he met, he was telling her what he was working on. She was like, what are you working on? He said a script about his life. He started telling her about his life, and she was like, she kind of got like a little turned on by it. It was weird.
Well, I think, I mean, I don't even know where to start with this, but yeah, I think she got a little turned on because she believes he's innocent. He said, I was innocent. I'm an innocent man that was sent to prison for 20 years. Man, now that's a story. What she doesn't know is that Mickey's a scumbag. Yeah. So he did go to prison for something he did not do for 20 years, but, you know, he easily could have gone to prison for something he did do for 20 years. He just didn't get caught for those things. Like
extorting people and beating people up.
Drug dealing.
And killing Ray's girlfriend.
Yes.
Right. Any of those things. Any number of those things. I also suspect molesting his daughter. I feel like that might come up. But yeah, so he's a scumbag. She's turned on by I've been in prison, and, you know, many women are stupid. Mm-hmm. And she's one of them.
She's sick of all those Hollywood producer types. She wants to get in with somebody who's a little bit crazier and a bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Mickey isn't the guy that you pick. Like, he's not like, you know, it was...
I understand how it was, like, a little bit deceiving, though, because he was in this spa, you know?
True.
Working on his treatments. Like, I bet. You know, come on, Mickey.
He had, like, a beat-up notepad. Like, his whole his whole presence at the spa was just like, come on, Mickey.
He's using all his extortion money, or, like, whatever kind of dirty money he's getting, he's using it to go there to the spa, which is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, the lady knows Claudette. Mickey starts talking about how, you know, he used to date some lady who's now with a Hollywood producer. She was like, oh, I know them. Claudette, that's who you're talking about? And he was like, yeah, you know, that's who I'm talking about. She also, I remember if she asked if he was racist or if he volunteered to say he wasn't racist.
What she said was, I'm surprised you're not racist, or I thought everybody from Boston was racist.
And then Mickey took that point in time to say, no, I'm not prejudiced, but I don't like black men, though. I was like, what, Mickey? Like, come on, this guy. And he really believed it. That's what the funny thing about it. race is always a touchy subject, but the fact that he really believed that, like, no, but I just have a problem with them.
And
That was classic.
His son is half black too. I just
Yeah.
want to point out
He's a
And
black man?
Yeah. I just. Yeah.
Oh, hilarious. Okay.
The irony of it.
Yeah.
I know. He was like, I'm
Yeah.
not.
That's fine.
So, no, I'm
I'm a
good.
stand-up guy.
Yeah. So he convinces the lady to go home. Well, she actually,
She said, "Let's go for a drink."
yeah, she wanted to go out with him after the spa.
They wanted to get a cocktail, I'm sure, at a nice lounge or something, a nice bar. But
Where there's like a mixologist, they use
Nice
fresh
music.
ingredients.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
they have ice.
right? They have plenty of ice, crushed, cubed options.
But Mickey took her back to his beat up old apartment that looked similar to Marvin Gaye Washington's house. Like, this apartment was scummy. Like, it was.
Yeah, it was dirty.
And I actually
Okay.
think that's Terry's place, right? Because we've seen them a few times. Like Terry's like waking up and they're walking around there, or maybe it's Bunchy's place.
I don't know.
But I've seen them in there a few times in the previous episodes, like walking around, and he's like, "Oh, you don't have a very good selection of porn here," or something like that. Right?
It doesn't matter. It was not a great place to bring a lady for the first time.
No,
is
it
the
was-
bottom
it
line.
was
So
yeah, she was a little too well dressed to even come into the apartment.
She even saw the porn DVDs that he
Yeah.
had there, right?
He asked her, "Can you twerk?" And she was like, "What?" Mickey
That guy.
is so.
yeah, this is a sophisticated lady. She's not a prostitute. You can't
It's
just
like, what?
yeah.
Twerk. So, at some point, he volunteers to tell her that he can't really have sex with her, or she's not really his type.
Well, and it comes right on the heels of a compliment from her, because he said, back in the day I was a good-looking guy, and she said, you're a good-looking guy now. That's a nice thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's when he says, well, you're too old for me to sleep with, but I might
I could go for a blowjob.
I'll take a blowy. What a jerk.
And he was so serious. Like, he was like, what?
This guy is the worst.
He is the worst.
And you know what's really sad is I really think he was trying to reach out for some companionship in this case with this woman, because he was so subtle this episode. He wasn't the typical really blunt, really dirty Mickey that we see. Whenever he was saying anything, it was very matter of fact, and he wasn't trying to get a rise out of anybody.
I don't know that that's true. I think he was vetting her for something. Like, what are the odds that, they're the only two people in the spa, and she knows Claudette, and I mean, and the producer. I mean, that he had to have done some recon on this.
Maybe. We'll see. But I kind of think Mickey is like that old grandparent, and I think we said this a couple episodes back, where they say something inappropriate, and then you're like, oh, that's just grandpa. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
His filter is completely gone. And I don't know if it's voluntarily gone, if he never had one at all, or if it's just prison talk. But he's that guy, that old guy now, when he says something, you're like, oh, don't mind him.
Oh, Grandpa!
Yeah.
He's like, oh, just ignore him.
Yeah.
So Mickey, somehow she, says, I will only give you a BJ if you put a gun to my head.
And he took it literally.
He thought it was foreplay. Goes and gets a gun.
His 38 snub nose out of the drawer.
And poor lady, she's like, what? What is happening? Crying. Mickey, he realizes, oh, shoot. Oh, you weren't trying to, play the game. I was just trying to, play along with you. And puts her out.
I'm sure he lost his erection really quick when she started crying on him.
But my thing
Maybe
is,
not. I don't know. He's pretty scummy.
yeah, and when he put her out, he was yelling mean things at her.
Yeah.
Mickey, you just pulled a gun on her.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But she's also, if a man insults you that much and then says, I'll be right back, please take that time to leave.
Yeah.
That's the time to just exit.
I feel like she was about to get her things in order. She was reaching for her phone, and you could hear her jingling her purse around, and you could hear keys. But he came back so quickly with the gun that she just got so surprised.
Yeah.
Well, I know one thing. I bet you she won't do that anymore.
Right.
She's not talking to anybody at the spa. She probably won't even go back to that spa.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to go home with strangers. It's just not the best plan.
She's too old for that stuff.
Yeah, what are you doing, lady? It's true. Like, what are you doing, ma'am? What are you doing?
Don't go home with strange men.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to be adventurous, back in the day. Come on, you're going to a nice spa. Yeah, you think he's going to be a nice guy. You come to his place and it looks like trash. Get out of there, please.
Yeah.
Or this is a guy who was locked up for 20 years.
Yeah.
He's not some nice businessman that you mean. You're like, oh, that's so nice. You got your own, own business. No.
He's not really working on treatment, He's probably like drawing some pornographic sketch is what he's probably doing.
Or writing letters to his friends in prison.
Right.
He's writing prison letters. That's what he's doing. So throughout the episode, they kept focusing on the oldest, well, not the oldest, the older Bridget, the deceased Bridget's
Dead
birthday.
Bridget.
Dead Bridget's birthday.
Sorry.
I was trying to be all cute.
We need to be able to differentiate, so we'll say Dead Bridget and Little Bridget.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
So the brothers got together, and they do this every year. They, read passages from Shakespeare and, other things, and they toast to Bridget's memory every year on her birthday.
It's nice.
It's
That's
nice. It
Yeah.
is nice.
Even little Bridget said, "Oh, that's so. What did you say? That's so nice, passionate."
I think she said that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, this becomes an event every year, like I said. And just jumping forward, Mickey came in after the whole day was said and done and was like, hey, what's going on here, And he totally forgot. They were like, Ray said, it's Bridget's, your daughter's birthday, you asshole. And he was like, huh? Like, he was totally confused.
Well, again, his excuse is he's been in prison for 20 years. So he hasn't been able to keep up with all the rituals that the brothers have been doing.
You don't have nothing else to do in prison, though. Like, you don't have
Yeah.
anything else to do in prison but reminisce.
Create your own rituals. Yeah, I mean,
Or avoid gang rape in the shower.
True.
that's a good ritual as well. But maybe a habit. But he should know when his daughter's birthday is, for sure.
Yeah. They also, well, and this kind of ties into what we'll talk about later, but they all get in the car and go on like a brothers trip together while they were celebrating Bridget's birthday. But it all, circled around it because once they were done, they got back to celebrating. And, it's just, it was a very cute moment throughout the whole thing to see them together.
Yeah, it was nice to see them because they've been so separated the whole series so far. And this was something for them all to connect, I feel. They're all drinking in the car together, downing that Irish whiskey, going over to beat up this random dude. They're like, okay, we're brothers. We're going to help you out.
How awesome was that moment? They were
was.
just like straight thugs.
Mm-hmm.
Just beat the crap out of these two guys and left within like 60 seconds. It was incredible.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice in a thug way. Like,
Yeah.
it was really cute.
They're so hardcore.
And the whole episode, like going en route there, drinking at the Fight Club, they're telling all these funny stories about their youth and what's happened, and then they even have Ray's even realized that he's gotten some stuff wrong. Like, oh wait, Dad did that. Dad beat up Bridget.
So
oh no,
what was
wait.
that? I didn't catch that.
I wrote that down as well.
Yeah. So what happened with that was Bunchy and Terry were telling a story about how they were like playing around with Bridget, and they grabbed her shoulders and they dislocated both of her arms doing that.
They both wanted to play with her, so they were like fighting over
Aw.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
So Ray is like, wait a second. I thought that Mickey did that. And they're like, no, we did that. So this whole time, that's like, imagine all the poor, bad feelings that Ray has harbored towards Mickey. And now he's like, oh, that's one thing that I can't hold against him anymore because he didn't do that. And I've been wrong all this time.
Right, so he has like that realization. I'm sure that makes him question a lot of things.
Other things.
It should. And that's really serious. You thought your dad dislocated your sister's shoulders? Both of them? Yeah. That's,
Right.
jeez. So that, and then they told the story about, how Bridget she set her purse on fire in school because she was in the bathroom smoking. She got caught. She put the joint in her purse, was in class, and the whole purse caught on fire. So that was, a good insight into Bridget. But they also, at the end, Ray finally told little Bridget why or how Bridget died. She was pregnant and on drugs. So this whole time we thought she was just on drugs, things got a little crazy in her life, but she was also pregnant.
That was a big, juicy piece of information that finally got revealed on episode 8. And we're questioning who did this. Did Mickey impregnate her? It could have been one of the priests too that was probably like raping all the kids or molesting all the kids, whatever.
Or was it that guy that Ray met last week in the hotel? Her boyfriend or the guy she was hanging out with that Gary that Ray hung out with, and he wouldn't tell Ray anything about Bridget and the things that happened. Maybe it was him. We'll never know. Well, we'll know, but
by the end of the season, hopefully.
Well, and it's really interesting that I feel like we're jumping all over the place now, but but it's related that that's what came up, and that's what Abby had just been accusing her. She's like, if you get pregnant, I'm not taking you to get an abortion,
and she didn't even have sex with Marvin Gaye Washington.
She didn't.
And which was really cool, because I think from the teasers last time, the whole time I'm thinking like, oh, she's gonna have sex with him, and she keeps going down the wrong path, getting into trouble. But I'm glad that she didn't do it, and Marvin Gaye did turn around and do the good thing this episode.
Yeah, we'll get into that, because that is a whole other doozy.
Yeah.
Ooh. But again, we saw more about deceased Bridget. Hopefully, I hope Mickey has nothing to do with her being pregnant. I think will take it to the next level.
But there was that scene at the end during the montage where he was looking at Bridget's photo and crying. So he actually feels some remorse about her dying. Maybe he didn't have anything to do with her committing suicide.
And that's the most emotion that we've seen him show all season.
Absolutely.
He got turned down by the woman who he wanted to give him a blowy, and then now he's crying over his dead daughter.
The thing is that when I don't know if it's episode 1 or 2, but Ray said to Abby, whatever you think it is, it's 10 times worse. So I feel like it could be something like that. And
like an incestuous relationship between Mickey and dead Bridget.
Yeah, and just something like really horrible and whatever like horrific thing you can think of. I don't know. 10 times worse though.
I feel like we're getting so depressed now.
I know. I'm like, I'm gonna be at home. I'm crying.
We're losing the energy here.
Yeah.
Well, Ray Donovan is like a depressing show.
Let's bring it up.
So let's pick the energy back up, guys. We always talk about iTunes. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep downloading, rate, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Also, we have tons of other after shows. We have, like I always say, wrestling, because I'm always just so into the wrestling after shows.
We have a lot of wrestling after shows. We do.
We have reality shows. We have dramas, comedies, whatever you guys can think of. If it's your favorite show, I'm sure we have an AfterBuzz TV after show for. So just go to AfterBuzz TV on iTunes, subscribe, find your favorite after show, which should be ours first. 5 stars, rate, leave us a comment, guys. Support. Also keep doing that on YouTube too, guys. We have some YouTube followers, but behave yourselves on YouTube.
For sure.
Yeah, I just would like to say and apologize, perhaps, I'm not really sure, but first I would like to clarify that that my name is Anna and this is Kennelia.
Yes.
And we're not the black girl and the white girl, so just
thank you.
Don't get it twisted. But also, somebody, I believe her handle is Martha, said that I gave her a bitchy attitude or a bitch attitude, and I'm not really sure how I did that. If I did that directly to you, anyway, I'm sorry. I don't want to give any of our followers any kind of attitude, so I apologize if I offended you. And that's it.
I don't know. Yeah, guys, behave yourself in YouTube.
But we did have some good comments, and we were going to talk about that in our news and gossip.
We do. Thank you, guys. Keep supporting us, like we always say. Subscribe, rate, 5 stars, and comment. All right, let's get back into it. Little Bridget. This was probably for me the most uptight or pissed off I was just overall emotional about this whole situation. Last week, Bridget, was a little distraught because Marvin Gaye Washington got taken away. She didn't know where he was. So the beginning of the episode, she got her belly button pierced. It was really like infected and just all nasty.
So red and still bloody. I think she did it herself.
I wouldn't be. Well, she said she went somewhere,
yeah.
but it looked like she went to somebody's basement.
Yeah, well, clearly she doesn't know that you're supposed to be putting, like, what is it, HydroCleanse or something like that. Yeah, put anything on it. Neosporin, do something. Don't just let it bleed all over your tank top. It was disgusting.
Gross. It was gross. So she was texting Marvin Gaye Washington to try to see where he was. And at first he was, not responding. I was like, okay, good for him. I
could imagine that he hasn't been responding for maybe a whole week or 2 weeks or however long they've been apart because she hasn't been in contact with him.
Yeah.
Right. And allegedly, I guess she's been in therapy because we hear things about the therapist, what the therapist says.
And that's not something that happens overnight. A while must have elapsed between him leaving and her doing the therapy, right?
Right. You find the therapist, you go to the therapist, you repeat things the therapist says. So, yeah, a lot of times loves. And also, by the way, all this time, where's Connor? Where is he?
Hanging out with Tommy Wheeler. Probably.
I mean,
they wouldn't know. Like, they're never home.
I know.
But it's something interesting that Abby said about the therapy. They were it came up and Ray was like, wait, what do you, therapy, what's happening? And then Abby said, it's inappropriate for you to be involved in this. You're her father. And then Ray says, that's exactly why I should be involved in this. And for me, that took me by surprise for Abby to assume that the father figure or the male figure in Bridget's life should have nothing to do with a situation like that, because that's the enforcer that you need. Like, you need her to feel comfortable around men, and you need her to understand that she has a man in her life that loves her. But for Abby, she was just like, no, you don't need to be.
Well, it said a lot about Abby, and it also that was kind of put a exclamation point on it at the end when she and Ray were making out, and she said, well, what would I tell the therapist about, like this, our marriage, like our sex life? And he was like, I thought you liked our sex. And she's like, I do. It like taps right into my issues. So, I mean, there's something going on there that, but yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like she has some male or father issues that.
And I feel like the therapist is not doing a very good job. If she's perhaps, I feel like Abby is saying like, oh, it's inappropriate for you to be involved in this whole thing with young Bridget. Well, where would she have gotten that idea from? Probably the therapist.
Yeah, that to me, it was just for an adult to think that to me it was totally off base.
It's like counterintuitive.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially, and taking it from Ray's perspective, let's say Bridget was molested, and let's say he knew that. It doesn't matter by who. It could be by Mickey or whoever. That's even more of a reason that you would think that he would want to be involved, because he probably wouldn't want little Bridget to go down the same path. That was just really, I was like, oh, when she said that, I was like,
yeah.
No.
I also wanted to mention how little Bridget brings up, like, oh, Dad's such an animal. He put a gun in Marvin Gaye's mouth. It's like,
she didn't say Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye Washington.
She just said Marvin. She just said Marvin.
Whatever. Marvin Gaye Washington. Marvin.
He put a gun in Marvin Gaye Washington's mouth.
So.
I'm sorry to take away from this moment. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So imagine how she would have felt. Ray is trying to protect his family and Marvin Gaye Washington by not spilling the beans on Marvin Gaye Washington brought a gun into Ray's house, and he found it before the women saw. So imagine if Bridget knew this, how she would feel differently about Marvin, right?
Well, there's obviously something going on with her, though, because the thing that happened was, he forcibly tried to get her to give him a blowy, and he said, "Pipe me, bitch." That's not really, I mean, and then she's like really concerned about him and
defending
she's
him.
Texting him like,
where are you?
I'm in Compton.
God.
Okay, I'll be on the next bus to Compton. Like, poor little white girl, like, rich girl problems. It's just ridiculous. But, and, on that ride home with Abby, she's just saying, like, Dad's racist, you're a racist housewife, that's all you are, and, Dad's an animal. And, she has some, like, really off-base ideas here.
Well, let me just say this. If I ever talked to my mom like that, even today, she would have smacked me out of the car. Like, she would have pulled over to the side, smacked me out of the car, and drove off. The whole time I was like, wow, she's talking to her like this? I thought Abby was going to backhand her. She didn't. But I was like, oh, maybe that's just me. Because my mom would have gave me a 2-piece with a biscuit in the car. Bow, bow. And that would have been it.
Well, I think that they just need to keep doing what they're doing. Like Ray said in the episode, he needs to give them rules. He can't just let them do whatever they want. And the kids will appreciate it. In 10 years, they'll appreciate what their parents did for them with setting boundaries and setting rules.
Well, I think that the boundaries need to come sooner than later, because backtracking, like Anna brought up, Bridget hops on a bus to Compton with no address, no anything. She asks Marvin, where is he? He finally says, I'm in Compton. She hops on the first thing smoking to any random old street in Compton.
Yeah.
Like, you don't go to Compton, Bridget. Like, I don't go to Compton. Like, I'm not hanging out in Compton.
Yeah, and, like, you're bleeding still. Like, get it together. What are you doing?
There's blood in the water, and the sharks are going to be all over her.
She's just riding the bus,
Exactly.
like, we're going to Compton. Like, it's not Calabasas.
No.
Yeah.
That really made me upset. The whole time I was like, Bridget, get your butt back to Calabasas. Get back to Calabasas. What are you doing?
And after she speaks to her mother that way, what she says, Abby's like gonna cry, and then she's like, shut up. If you get pregnant, I'm not gonna get you an abortion. You're gonna have your baby ruin your life. Is that what happened with Abby? Is that why she's so miserable? I just,
Probably. But again, Abby, your daughter, you're crying. Like, to me, it was so backwards that Bridget was the one who hopped on a bus, the first thing smoking, to Compton.
Yeah.
And now, Abby, you're crying. Like, what is wrong?
And when did, like, Marvin Gaye Washington
So
become
mad.
like the voice of reason? When did that happen?
After Ray put a gun in his mouth.
Yeah. So,
Boundaries. Discipline.
Yeah, I was really surprised. Bridget saw the condoms in the drawer. She was over there. It was the same house that his mom got shot in. The blood was on the floor. She got emotional.
Oh.
But even throughout all that, she was ready to lose her virginity to Marvin.
When the condoms, clearly, that was from another girl.
She didn't care, honey. She wanted it now.
She thought it was for her.
She probably did.
Yeah, because she's an idiot. She's not an idiot, but she's very naive and young, and
I was really surprised when Marvin. What you guys think when Marvin called Abby?
I was amazed, and I was glad. I really feel like Ray changed him.
Yeah. See, and I'm glad you said that, because I feel like Ray changed little Bridget too at the end of the episode, when he just came to kind of check on her and was honest with her, and
He was just being dad.
he was just being dad, and held her and was protecting her. She fell asleep in his arms, and
They sang that song together.
they sang that song together. They were bonding, and yeah, he needs to be involved in these things. Dad's important here.
And I think at some point, Ray should probably have the conversation with Bridget and say, listen, every boyfriend you have, I'm going to pull a gun on him. Like, I don't think it's anything wrong with it. Listen,
it's not unreasonable.
yeah, if you're dating someone that I feel is inappropriate or
A threat.
to you and our family, I will hurt him. So choose who you bring around this family.
Right. Listen, if he busts through the door with a gun in his hand,
Bridget, I can't. So, yeah.
It's not asking too much.
So we'll see, though, what happens with Bridget, because it'll either be she still will want Marvin Gaye Washington and will want to pursue this, friendship with him, or maybe she'll get the impression that Marvin just isn't fooling with her because of her dad. I hope it's that one. I hope it's the latter. I hope she doesn't want to fool with Marvin, because it's one thing for once a girl is her eyes are open to like the bad boy and like that whole lifestyle, that's what she's going to appeal to. And poor Bridget, she recorded a song, had some birthday cake, and then she was just ready to, give Marvin Gaye Washington the goods. Next thing you know, she's gonna be wearing a bandana around her head and some booty shorts. Like, you just don't want twerking. You don't want this to happen. So, but we can go on all day. Well, I can go all day about Little Bridget, but
I wanted to mention that this was the most comfortable and casual we've seen Ray dress throughout the whole series so far. He was just wearing a t-shirt, jeans, and a hoodie today.
It was. At one point when he first put it on, I was like, what is he putting on? Where's
he going?
Yeah, where are you going? Oh. But, it was cool to see him not in a suit. He looks good either way, but.
He's a good one. We got to see his tushy tonight, too. And that was exciting.
For the ladies.
Yeah.
All right, so we saw the
I have a DVR. I don't understand.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch it. Well, Terry and Francis had an interesting storyline in this one.
Yeah.
Terry was dating Francis. They were back and forth. Earlier, a couple episodes back, he found out that Francis was married, has a son, a whole family. We found out today that they've been continuously sleeping together, and they were still, doing the do. Francis comes to the gym.
Big glasses on.
Big glasses. Took the glasses off. She has a black eye. She didn't say what she wanted, though. Did you guys think that she showed up wanting Terry to go and beat up her husband? Or would you, I didn't know what she wanted. I didn't know either.
Well, here's the thing. I think that probably just happened, and because she left, she was like, I'm sorry, you look so pretty right now. There's just a moment. I just had to say it. Sorry. Anyway.
For our YouTube viewers, you're seeing this, but our iTunes people, go on YouTube and check out how Kennelia looks tonight.
Yeah,
I want a regular blouse. Okay, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyway, she showed up when she left. She was like, thanks for the support. And I think she was just in the middle of a crisis and is in love with Terry and wanted him to just like hold her and, be there and let her cry or do whatever. But I mean, I think that's what she was wanting. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, she wanted someone to just be there.
Comfort her.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Comfort, yeah.
She wanted the other man in her life to show her some love and affection versus this guy who's supposed to be loving her because he's her husband, who's beating up on her.
Yeah. But Terry did the opposite. He sends her on her way.
Yeah.
She storms out,
Because he's jealous too. He wants to be the only man in her life. He doesn't want to be the side man like he said.
Yeah, and he feels, he's been lied to and he's been
betrayed.
Yeah, and he feels foolish.
Yeah.
So.
And he's not the most open guy.
Right.
And in a way, she's kind of taking advantage of that. And, in a way, because would she pull that same stunt with someone else if it weren't Terry? Like, if it was just a regular dude, like some other regular guy who, gets chicks, just a cool guy, would she do the same thing to him? I don't know. It seemed to me like she was she's taking advantage of the situation. Not the whole black eye thing, but the having Terry on the side, him being the side man.
Knowing he's like insecure. And,
yeah.
Not very good with women. Hasn't been with a woman in a long time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And she revealed something really important. She loves him. She said she's in love with Terry. Wow. And she only wants to stay until her son turns 18.
And he's 17.
Mm-hmm. So, it could work out.
So Terry only has to be a side man for several more months.
Still there.
Somewhere between 1 and 12. We don't know.
So what do you do? What does he do? Stick around? But what he did at that moment, after he sends her away, he tries to get back to the ritual with his brothers celebrating Bridget's birthday. And he was like, you know what? You don't hit a woman. And he storms out. The brothers, it was cute. They follow behind like, oh, man. Oh, great. We got to fight.
Yeah. And right. And that was such a sexy scene.
Yeah. They get out the car and whoop that guy's butt. And who was the stranger that walked out? Who was the stranger? Some guy?
I think just like a neighbor that was, And Ray's like, you don't want to do that.
Yeah. He got beat up too.
And Bunchy kicked him while he was on the ground.
And was sitting on him. Yeah. He was sitting on him waiting until Terry got done beating up his girlfriend's husband.
Yeah. And I thought what he said was like so cool. He was like, I'm sorry, okay? I didn't know. but you don't hit a woman.
And then he said, but she's not a woman, she's a slut.
Oh,
She's
and
a
hit him
whore.
again.
Hit him.
Hit him again.
Tore him up.
But yeah, and then they left. Then they were out.
Yeah. But Frances comes back afterwards. And she seemed like a little, like, you know, salty. Like, well, why you didn't have to beat him up? You're hitting people now, or whatever she said. And
Right.
Terry, you know, he says, I thought isn't that what you wanted? That's why you came here. You wanted me to do that.
Right. And
Did she though? Yeah, that's why I asked. What does she want? What does she want? But
Maybe just subconsciously she did want that to happen. What would she think? With her guy who's a boxer, who owns a boxing studio, what's he gonna do to defend your honor? Go beat somebody up.
Yeah. Obviously.
yeah. So we'll see what happens with this relationship, because you know
Well, I think it's really honorable of Terry, though.
it was.
And then he goes to church to confess, and that doesn't help him at all. But I wonder if we're going to see like a lot more of church because, you know, Bunchy also had that moment. He sees the little boys and the priest touching the little boy. So I don't know if like we're going to see a lot more of the Catholic Church in the upcoming episodes.
I think maybe because since it has such an effect on Bunchy.
Yeah.
Like if they want to get a reaction out of Bunchy, just have a church scene, you know, because that just
Just have a priest patting a little kid.
and
Yeah.
that just pulls it right out of him. Even flashbacks, you know, when before he burnt his house down, they had the flashback to the priest when he was a little in the BJ. So if you want to pull something out, show the church.
And speaking of that, burning houses down, Bunchy wanted to know where his money was. And Ray saying, no, things are going to go back to the way things were. I had to torture somebody and burn a house down, and, you know, Mickey's been poisoning your mind, and
Yeah,
we're going back to the old way.
back to the good old days.
Yes.
So hopefully it stays that way. We also saw Lena. She opened up a little bit to Avi about her mistress, or the lady she was dealing with. Come to find out, the lady is married and she's going through a lesbian phase.
Yeah, she and Terry should talk, you know.
You know, did they ever show anything about excuse me, Lena's personal life during the whole series before this?
No.
Only time is when, remember, she was in the bed with that lady and Ray called her to do a job, and she, you know, tapped the lady. I don't even know if it's the same lady, but she tapped her and was like, okay, you got to get up, you have to go. That was the only time
totally
we saw
forgot
her
that.
with someone else.
Yeah, that must have been like the first episode.
First
huh?
or second, yeah.
And I was thinking to myself the whole time, like, did I just imagine that she was a lesbian, or
No,
did
they
I?
showed her with a woman.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
But, you know, Avi recommended that she go over there and tell the lady that she loved her, even if she didn't mean it. He seems to do it all the time. You know, it works.
And he said to tell her how she really feels, and she took that to heart.
And punched the lady in her nose. Broke her nose. So, at the end of this episode, we saw Lena in handcuffs.
LAPD.
She didn't seem to care, though.
Well, at the beginning of the episode, they said shred anything that could get us in trouble, federal level, you know. And they said, well, that's everything. So they shredded everything. So I guess she didn't seem to care.
Yeah.
Because, like, got nothing on me. We're way ahead of you.
Unless this was for the assault on her lesbian lover.
Did not consider that.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's that. Because the lady, when she punched her in the nose, the lady was like, call the police.
She said call
She
call
called
security.
Yeah, call security.
But I'm sure she would have still pressed charges. Come on, she assaulted her. She beat her up.
And broke her nose. Because
Yeah.
now she has to go back to her husband and say, I got my nose broken by the lesbian that I was sleeping with.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ugh, it's a rough day.
It's a tough
It's
day.
a rough day.
All right, guys. So, again, looking forward to the next episode. We'll get into some predictions later, but let's first get into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
I have a couple of tweets.
Cool.
Interesting ones. Let's see. Joy Booker Thornton at Lady J Booking tweeted on 8/25. So next, I believe that's next Sunday, right? At @IM_Pooch Hall and at Ray J are going to be in Detroit, in #Detroit. Celebrate with Lady J booking, models, live performances, giveaways, and more. So they're going to be there in Detroit, and they're going to be doing this this interesting event. I forgot the exact name of it, but something out. I will go ahead and it's the Ball Out event, and it's a fundraiser, C2P and VIP fundraiser. So if anybody wants to take a glimpse at Pooch Hall and Ray J, go out there and try to sneak into this event.
Nice. Well, there's a great interview with Liev Schreiber that from in TV Guide, and there, just a cute little thing that he said. He said Ray Donovan doesn't smile. He's like, it's not my fault. But then the Showtime president, David Nevins, kind of pulled him inside and he said, could you maybe find a place to smile? And he's like, I had no idea I had permission. It's like, so you'll be seeing some more smiling from Ray Donovan. And then Ann Bitterman was explaining her decision of who she wanted as Ray Donovan. And there's something just like very classically, sexy about Ray or about Liev. And she said, Liev would never wear a baseball cap backwards or shoes with no socks. None of that shit that passes for manhood in LA.
It's true. Oh my God.
I thought it was great. And then Jonathan Skach, I'm probably butchering this name, but Scaech. Anyway, he plays Sean
Walker.
Thank you. Sean Walker on the show. He is going to be in an upcoming series on the CW called this is Star-Crossed. So look for him on Star-Crossed. That's all my news and gossip.
I have one more thing to add. A tweet from somebody, from Marianne Kramer at Marianne M1961 at Sean Austin O. Ray was at the cemetery visiting the family graves. Sully, I'm sure she meant not Scully, was at the chapel at the cemetery. He doesn't live there. And I also had another YouTube channel. We had actually a few YouTube channel comments. Somebody said that it was, where is it? It was at the mausoleum. Oh, here.
It's a mausoleum.
Yeah, Zwa77. Great show, guys. I don't think they were in a church. It looked like the inside of a mausoleum that was in the cemetery. So that's another little piece of information. Mm-hmm. So we don't think Sully lives there now.
But he travels with his girlfriend and dog? That was the thing. It was weird.
Yeah, I do. I don't know if we want to step into predictions at this point.
Yeah, let's go on. Let's get into some predictions. You guys are done with some gossip?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, Anna, keep going, because that's weird.
Yeah, I just definitely think we're going to see a lot more of the Sully storyline, and really looking forward to it. It looks like he's taking along the lady, which he did not want to do, is going to really kind of mess up his life for everybody, and mess up the plan with Ray as well. To take on a woman and a dog when you're trying to be on the run is just, it's a mistake. It's a mistake.
Yeah.
It's a big red flag.
Yeah.
I feel like the Russians that Ray extorted tonight are going to be a problem in the future. I also feel like Marvin Gaye Washington is going to be the next big YouTube sensation with his new rap video that's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a video with the caution tape in the back, of the door, had the blood on the ground. Like, he's just
He's gonna get street cred now.
He's gonna get street cred. I think I'm gonna piggyback. I think the guys that he extorted for money in regards to Bunchy's house, I think they're gonna be a problem. I also think the Sully thing isn't gonna go over well. I just don't think it's gonna be that easy for him to just fly to LA, save the day, and whisk off with his girlfriend and that dog, and that lap dog. I just don't think, like you said, I don't think it's gonna go over well. But we'll see, guys. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Ray Donovan After Show. Come back, see us same time, same place. You can follow me at Kennelia on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Where can they find you guys?
You can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR.
And you can find me at Sean Austino on Twitter and Instagram.
Like always, see you next time, guys.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AFTERBUZZTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.